ng losses, distribution losses, kinakarga rin sa lahat ng mga consumer.
No, everybody has systems loss. If you will Google in the internet, you will see that the most efficient state in the United States
the inevitable
has a 4%
inevitable ang systems loss. The question is whether that should be passed on to the consumer.
It has to. It has to, because I'm producing power. I'm delivering 1,000 megawatts to you. By the time it gets to you, it's only 960 megawatts. I have to charge you for the 1,000 megawatts because I charge you at my gate. O pare, lumabas dito 1,000, eh sasabihin mo, dumating dito 980 lang. I'm sorry, you have to pay for the 1,000. And that's standard in the industry, wherever you go. Russia, China, that's why they have systems losses. The world average is about, European average, is about 7% to 8%.
You know, there was a time under the Public Service Commission that public utilities, especially in the power industry, had a return on assets.
RORB.
RORB, no?
Return on rate base.
Bago na yung rate base ngayon, return on rate base. Dati kasi hindi rate base ang basis.
Return on assets.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it makes a huge difference in terms of the profitability of power distributors.
The new pricing is, it's rate basing. Geez, it just slips my mind, but it's used the world over already. And it gives a certain price that the distributor, the distribution company can charge, and the distribution company can charge. If they're able to cut down costs, they can keep the money. So it gives, nagaganahan sila na to improve the lines, to improve their delivery systems, because when they save, then they get to keep the difference. So PBR, performance-based rate making. See, performance. So they use that in New England, they use it in New York, they use it in Washington, etc. Practically all of the modern jurisdictions use PBR.
Ang tanong ko sa iyo, are you satisfied with the structure of
But
the
wait a
ERC?
minute, PBR and return on rate base, it's the option of the ERC to decide what they want to use.
Okay.
So
And
the law did not mandate it.
My next question to you on that one is, are you satisfied that the ERC truly protects the public interest or the consumer's interest? When it comes and it balances off, in other words...
Why don't you hit the nail on the head? Are you fearful that they're subject to regulatory capture?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's what most people are really thinking.
You know, we really have to investigate that. But, you know, if they give us proof, then we will investigate it. But, of course, there's always suspicion na hawak ng mga malalaki ito, hawak ng Meralco, hawak nito, hawak ng Transco.
No, the problem sometimes there is simply it becomes a question of who's the lawyer you hired, no? That if you have a better lawyer, you can get more. And there is not enough independent thinking going on in the ERC or balanced thinking that enables to weigh competing interests or contradictory interests in a way that enhances public welfare.
There is a proposal to amend the ERC charter. Well, it's not charter, it's in the IPIRA Act, actually, to have consumer representatives on the ERC.
Wala kasi ngayon eh.
Wala.
Well, you think that's well,
will they be captured
that?
also?
They can also be captured.
Yeah,
we know that. No? Anybody can be captured kung yun ang iisipin natin.
Correct.
Pero I will just have to go on the basis that because
they
we want the right way and we want the matuwid now,
yes,
that whoever is appointed there will truly represent the public interest.
That's correct.
Or the consumer's interest. Yeah. No? But maybe I'm hoping too much and expecting too much that things will really amount to a change.
I know. You know, we have problems with the judiciary, with the police, with the customs, with the LTO.
May problema, eh.
So, we hope Pinoy will be able to improve things.
Well, let's hope so. Even in the whole issue of red tape, now we are number one in the world, I think, in terms of doing business. And you know, I remember that I listened to the 104.3. And they often say one of the statements there of President Noynoy is he will cut red tape. It doesn't seem as if it has been cut. It looks as if it's worse.
I'd like to see the metrics on on that, because really we just passed a law organizing the GOCC, which is a new department, cabinet-level department, which will oversee government-owned and controlled corporations, including the GFIs. If we can make use of management experts, and you know, we have some pretty good managers here, you know, out of AIM, out of the Ateneo Business School. If we can harness them, then maybe we can cut down on the amount of red tape. It's just too much. I agree with you, but it also connected with that is our retail type of corruption.
Yeah. Tsaka isa pang bagay na kailangan may isipin ngayon, para bang takot na takot ngayon walang gustong kumilos. And it results in slowdown and delays in whatever papers go over to the government. Everybody is trying to be, you know, super safe and super. Nobody wants to take any kind of appropriate decision kasi mahirap na, baka mamaya na mayroong magsumbong sa ombudsman. It is part of the climate of fear, however. Kasi kailangan babalansehin mo yan eh. Hindi lang siya matatakot ang taong gumawa ng hindi tama, pero yung gawin yung positive thing na tama to simplify procedures and to speed things up.
Yeah, but you need management experts to take a look at this. You will recall that we just underspent on our budget, no? That's because people were too cautious also.
Kanya nga.
So
yun nga ang
you know, they didn't help
no?
matters any as far as the economy was concerned.
Para bagang wala ngayon, although I have to say na sometimes many of the experiences that I hear from a lot of people in the public is ang korupsyon sa ilalim. Down to the last clerk, etc. Everybody's hand is out kasi tingin nila baka bukas matanggal na ako, make hay while I'm able.
Yeah, that's what you call retail corruption.
Oh, yung retail corruption. I mean, I was saying about that is probably the hardest thing to curb. Yeah. The corruption at the LGU levels. And that, unfortunately, kung saan ang interface ng public sa gobyerno, dun eh. Ang tao dito, depende sa karanasan nila na with let's say with the municipality or the city.
Pero matutuwa ka ha, in the last SWS survey which came out about 3 or 4 days ago on governance, all the ratings went up ha. Ako natuwa ako.
Hindi na ako naniniwala sa mga ratings eh.
No. You have to. I mean, you know, that's the only way. That is the only way to. They do a survey asking people, how do you find now the services of the local government unit under which you live? And it has improved. And I was pleasantly surprised. Even the local governments, tumaas yung rating nila. So at least maybe something's happening that we don't see. And I hope,
not so visible yet, no?
But I hope it continues because it's certainly visible to those who were surveyed. Now, this is like, you know, all the survey ratings that they run on the president, the vice president, the Senate president. This one, they ran on the local governments at tumaas.
Kasi sa akin dito, unless the survey companies tell us what are the questions that they asked, ayoko man ang paniwalaan ng surveys because, you know, you can manipulate surveys depending upon how you ask the question.
But it doesn't pay for them to manipulate surveys. SWS has been doing it for 25 years, and I've always followed them. And I've done surveys, they've done surveys for me, and I would be awfully stupid to fool myself on my own survey, di ba?
Okay. I'll give you an example. Channel 7 and Channel 2 do their own surveys, and they conflict with each other as to who is on top.
I'm not talking about that.
No, I know. I'm talking about survey companies. And I think it's a question of, you know, the size of the population, the questions you ask, etc. So, sasabi ko lang, pag hindi nila nilalantad kung ano yung mga tinanong nila at paano nila didistribute yung sampling method nila,
all right, let us assume,
maybe it will become a lot more credible.
However, it is in the interest of the company conducting the survey, the company that's commissioning the survey, to make the survey come out looking favorable to them. But for SWS, nobody commissions the survey. That's paid for by foundations. And so I have tended to believe when they do this trust rating, when they do this, I mean, you know, during Gloria's time, Gloria was below 0, di ba? I mean, if anybody had the money to bribe SWS, it would have been Gloria Arroyo.
Well, the reason I asked that is because I think it is also, I think, a reasonable assumption to assume that when the survey comes up with something positive or negative, Yun lang ang lumalabas sa headline. And that already creates such an impact on the awareness of people. Headline lang ang nababasa. Headline lang ang nakikita.
What's your point?
The point I'm saying is, we cannot go on the basis of